Welcome back to the Brick Breakdown. I am Matt Brick, your host. Today is June 23rd, Friday. How's everyone doing? Today we're going to go and talk about some fantasy football tight ends and have another top 10 list. But first, let's get right into the news. The Bills have extended Sean McDermott and GM Brandon Beane, or Beanie, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, through 2027. The NFL and NFLPA are jointly awarding grants totaling $526,000 to independent medical researchers investigating alternative pain management methods, including the effects of CBD. The investigation of Tyreek Hill has been closed. The man is not pressing charges at this time. The guy that was allegedly hit by Hill said that he can buy him and his boat. Not a lot of news. Just a reminder, since the news has not been a lot lately, I'm going to make the show once a week on Wednesdays. So new breakdowns on Wednesdays moving forward until there's more football news to talk about. But let's get into some fantasy football talk about these tight ends. Tight ends, we're at the point in fantasy football where the tight end position is not required. You don't need there's not an actual tight end position. There are flex positions. I do play in a league. I play in, I want to say 2 leagues where a tight end is a position. But we all know that the thing with it's kind of a blessing and a curse, the tight ends in fantasy football, because only the guys really worth drafting are the best top 3, top 4 guys, maybe. Obviously, you have Travis Kelce. He's been the number 1 guy for I don't know how long, forever. You have Mark Andrews, who his hype has been high for the past 3-4 years. At least that's what it's felt like. People are really high on Andrews this year. People think that he's going to be the number 1 tight end. People last year thought Andrews was going to be the number 1 tight end. They were wrong. It was Kelce again. But you never know. I think it's really hard to discredit Travis Kelce. He's one of the best tight ends in the league for sure. But Mark Andrews obviously is one of the best as well. Him and Lamar Jackson obviously have a great connection together. So those are, and then you have George Kittle, who has shown time and time again how much of a beast he is. He has had some injury concerns, so I can understand some hesitancy there. But, Kittle's obviously one of the top guys as well. And then you have Darren Waller, who is now with the New York Giants. I'm a big fan of Waller this year. I think him and Daniel Jones can get, a connection started this year. I think that he will have the most receptions on the Giants. There's no one else really there, wide receiver-wise. Couldn't name you. I can't name one. I don't know who's on that team as a wide receiver. I just don't know. Oh, Richie James is gone. He's on the Chiefs now, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's on that Giants offense other than Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and Darren Waller. So they have Hodgins. Isaiah Hodgins, is that his name? No, his last name. No, I don't know his first name because they're just not that great. I think Waller will be a great tight end this year for fantasy football. Draft down Darren Waller for sure. Dallas Goedert. I know he got hurt last year, but if you take away some of the things, I think he missed 3 or 4 games. I just think that targets are going to start coming to him more this year. I think Hurts and him, they've just dominated. Hurts and Goddard, Goddard gets open and Hurts finds him, and it's an easy first down on like 2nd and 12 or something, and Goddard just goes crazy. So I can understand wanting to draft Dallas Goddard. He's very, very cool to watch. So, yeah, Dallas Goddard. Dalton Schultz, he's now on the Houston Texans. Schultz has balled out. I mean, he obviously balled out on the Cowboys. I think that he may not have the same production on the Texans, but that doesn't mean he's not going to score some fantasy points. I think that with Stroud there, he can, start finding Schultz this year and start making that a thing for himself. TJ Hawkinson on the Vikings. The only thing for me is that the Vikings have a lot of mouths to feed in Minnesota. They have Justin Jefferson, obviously, Jordan Addison now, KJ Osborne. They just lost Dalvin Cook. They have Alexander Madison, who can probably catch a few balls. And then Hawkinson. So I don't know if he'll be catching a lot of those receptions or targets, but I think he'll have a few boom games for fantasy. Would not be surprised at all, but we'll see. I think I would rather have like Goddard or Waller than Hawkinson, which is, I guess, easy to say, but I don't know. Mike Gesicki, he's now on the New England Patriots, which I think is interesting. I have previously talked about Mac Jones on the show and have said that I think that he's able to. This is his year. Like, he has to do well this year. If he doesn't, something's going to happen. He's either going to be traded, or he's probably going to be traded. I just don't. I think he will do better this year. And I think with Gesicki on the team, he will do better. It's just that as of right now, everyone's talking about DeAndre Hopkins and how if the Patriots go and get Hopkins, then maybe Mac Jones will be able to thrive, which is probably true. That would be great for him. But as of right now, he has like Tyquan Thornton. Jacoby Myers is gone. He went to the Raiders. So, and you have Mike Gesicki. So, I think with Gesicki, and I want to say they still have Hunter Henry. I could be wrong. But I think Gesicki can do well with Mac Jones. The last one here is Tyler Higbee. I know there's some concerns with Matthew Stafford because he got injured last year. However, I think Stafford, after, I'm sure he's had a lot of recovery time. I think he'll be all right going into this next season. They all decided to, stay. If you look at like Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Sean McVay, like Sean McVay was offered to go into broadcasting. He said, no, I'm going to stay as a coach. Matthew Stafford was like, yep, I'm going to stay here. Aaron Donald decided to stay as well. So they're not going to stay to lose football games. They're going to stay and try to win. So I think Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee are going to be that offense is still decent. Their defense is not that great now. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost Bobby Wagner. So it's not going to be the best defense in the league. But I still think that offense can win some football games. All right, that's all the fantasy football tight ends I have. Let's get into the top 10 list, top 10 forgotten tight ends. These are just tight ends that I lived through and I remember back in the day. I mean, some of them are still a little bit relevant, I guess. They're just underrated guys. that I look back and say, yeah, I remember him. He was pretty good. And this order isn't really top 10. It's just an order, so it is what it is. Number 10, Tony Gonzalez. He was obviously one of the best of all time. Pretty sure he's a Hall of Famer now. He was a beast, and obviously for fantasy football, he was scoring you a lot of fantasy points. So Tony Gonzalez, one of the best on the Falcons. I think he was on the Chiefs as well. Yeah, Tony Gonzalez, respect. Number 9, Jermichael Finley. He was on the Packers from what I remember, and he was a beast. Yeah, I mean, I think him and Favre, and I don't remember if he may have been on the team with Rodgers. I really don't remember. But Jermichael Finley, he had his games for sure. Number 8, Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is now what is he? He does color commentating for Fox. He just did this. He just did the Super Bowl with Kevin Burkhardt on Fox. So anyway, yeah, Greg Olsen, obviously one of the best. He was great on the Panthers. I had him. I totally had him on my fantasy football team before. He was great. Greg Olsen, making it at what, 8. All right, number 7, Heath Miller. We used to call him Beef Miller because, I don't know, it's funny, I guess. He was on the Steelers. He had his games for sure, especially for fantasy. So, yeah, number 8 or 7, Heath Miller. Number 6, Jeremy Shockey. He was decent, you know. Jeremy Shockey. Can't go wrong with him. He had his games. He was definitely a lot of fun to watch. Don't forget about Jeremy Shockey. Number 5, Owen Daniels. I remember him specifically on the Texans. I don't know if he's played anywhere else, but he always had like touchdowns, and you were just like, ugh. Because from what I remember, no one really had him on fantasy unless someone picked him off waivers or something, and he would kind of vulture some touchdowns, and you'd be like, oh, that helps nobody. But Owen Daniels, will not forget you. Number 4, Jason Witten. I mean, it hasn't been that long without Jason Witten in the NFL, but he was one of the best. Obviously, I mean, him and Romo and him and Dak, he always was just a beast. He found his way open and scored touchdowns. He was awesome. So respect, Jason Witten. Number 3, Vernon Davis. I don't remember how many years ago. It was the last year he played. May have been 3 or 4, but it may have been sooner than that. But I remember watching Vernon Davis. He was playing. I was at the game. It was Eagles and 49ers years ago, and Vernon Davis caught this ridiculous ball. I don't know if he scored, but it was a deep ball, and he caught it. And I was just like, "What?" Like, and the guy, I mean, he was old when he was still playing. And I swear to God, I think it was his last year. So, other than that, he was great. Listen, he obviously was a great player, but man, watching that totally upset me. Number 2, Brent Selleck. Brent Selleck on my Eagles. He was a beast, man. He won Super Bowl. Totally underrated for sure. He was just one of the best out there. I mean, he definitely, did everything he could on that field and was awesome throughout his career on the Eagles. We'll never forget you, Brent Selleck. I remember when we went to the Super Bowl parade, I think he was wearing a Randall Cunningham jersey, and I got to see him. So that was pretty cool. Number 1, forgotten tight end, Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates was obviously one of the best out there. He played for, I don't know how many seasons, a lot. Something that you really don't see nowadays. And, yeah, I mean, he obviously got hurt a lot, which sucked, which is a shame. But he gave it his all. He played, he played a lot. He played so many seasons. And do not forget Antonio Gates. He was awesome. That's really all I have today. I don't have a lot. There's not really much going on in football right now. But I'll end it with the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, sorry, it's just weird English. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Friedrich Nietzsche. I think I'm saying it wrong. I tried. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Follow at Bryk Breakdown on Twitter, or really everywhere, at BRYK Breakdown, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, on there for sure. You can follow my personal Twitter at BrykMatt, BRYKMATT. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, give us a review on I think you can do that on Spotify. I don't know. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.